Another piece of the website planning process is the project plan itself. Now, what we're going to do within the project plan is to bring all the different pieces that you work with in planning the project into a single document. And what type of information should go into that? Well, I do have some information on my site about that. So at cmarscreate.com, if you click on Resources and go to the Design area, these are the design resources. There's a whole section on planning the website. And if I click on the project plan here, what that does is take me out to the project plan requirements. And this is all the information that should go into your project plan. And a project plan is simply documenting the project being website creation. So the idea is the design document questionnaire and the design document are already completed in that order. So the questionnaire is filled out. From that questionnaire, you as a designer have created a design document. And then those two pieces come into this project plan documentation. So you move on to number 3 at this point, project requirements. You take all of that information you've gathered so far and start planning the project itself. You define what the project is, the scope, who is going to be involved as team members, both within the company or a private individual, and you set up all the different team members. You set up communication, how you're going to speak to one another, who is kind of the lead on various aspects of the project. What resources do you have at your disposal? Content creation, who's going to be creating all of that information? All of this information is written down and included in the project plan. That way, as you move forward, anybody who needs information has access to the project plan and they can get their answers. I think you will find if you set up a project plan in advance, you will end up saving a lot of time. And it may seem like you're spending a lot of time putting this information together, but no matter what you do, you have to put it together anyway. So why not put it in a single location? It will save you time having to look it up later. You just go to a single document at that point. This also helps you determine the final cost. Every company is very interested in the final cost, and unless you have things documented, it's going to be very difficult to justify what it's going to cost somebody, because I can almost guarantee they will think it's more than what they thought originally. In other words, people don't seem to understand what it takes to develop a website, therefore you have to justify your costs. Not that you shouldn't have to for any business decision. Deliverables. What's the timeline? Who's going to be doing things? How are we going to document a few of these early initial phases before we get the design finalized? And you can see under site design, there's quite a bit of information to consider here. And it's good to just get this all in a single document. Every one of these questions, I have to ask a client at some point. So this helps me make sure that I remember to ask all of the correct decisions. It's easy to forget things. And then we move into creating the documentation. Now, the last piece that's important is who is going to maintain the project plan, where can people find it, and how are we going to keep it up to date? If you create it at the beginning and don't keep it up to date, it doesn't do anybody any good. So please consider all of that information and feel free to reference this particular project plan as a base for creating your own for your design web projects.